All right, so today we are introducing a brand new series for you guys. So as we've been camping for a while and we've been talking to friends and everything like that, you know, one thing's in common. Everybody has a story of camping, you know?
Yeah.
And everybody has a worst camping experience ever.
Most people. I don't have a horrible one. You'll see.
So some are more severe than others. You know, it's all your preference, your style of the way you camp, you know, and it's all about how you roll with the punches, right?
All the time. It's always about how you deal with the problems when they come at you.
So we're going to tell you our story, and then we're going to tell you some friend stories, and then we're going to have a special guest, the Millers in Motion. Some friends of ours, Ryan and Lauren, have agreed to come on and tell us and you their story.
All right. Like I said, I don't have a horrible camping story. As long as we've been camping, which is almost 2 years now, we haven't had any complete catastrophes. We've had issues like everybody else who has an RV. I mean, who doesn't out there have something go wrong? But you roll with the punches, you deal with it. But I haven't had any just, oh my gosh, kind of moments that just put me off of camping or not wanting to go anywhere, you know. I used to tent camp when I was a kid with my parents and my brother, and you know, that's how we did it. We would either be in the tent, or if we overnighted somewhere, we would just sleep in the van. We had done that some. And really the worst time was I was really little. I mean, we're talking like 40 years ago. I had broken my arm at the beginning of summer, and we were planning a trip to Colorado. Now, sleeping in a van with a broken arm, with a cast here to here, is already hard enough. But we were tent camping once we got there. And yeah, that was uncomfortable because in Colorado, higher elevations, it gets cold in the morning. Late at night and to the early morning, it's cold. And yeah, that didn't feel good with a broken arm because it was pretty severe, so my bones ached all the time. And you know, it was just one of those things. It was uncomfortable, but we still went on vacation. We still had a good time. We still took a train ride, all that sort of stuff. But you know, it wasn't my worst camping experience. That was just the worst one I have till, you know, to date. But yeah, I've not had any horrible experiences. Now him, on the other hand.
Now let's preface this. She said we've been camping 2 years. We've been camping longer than 2 years. We've been in our RV.
We've been in our RV for 2 years. We had a tent before that, but we never had any horrible incidents. It had been cold, yes. It had rained on us a little bit, but never got in the tent. Yeah. You know, it was just uncomfortable. I didn't really care for sleeping on the ground. Never have.
So I grew up in Southern California. My family was a fairly active family. My brother was 10 years older than me. I was kind of his pseudo problem.
An annoying little brother.
Yeah, my parents were always like, hey, just take Jim. Well, so one time he was going up on this trip up Mount Baldy. Now, Mount Baldy was the mountain that was pretty much behind the foothills from where we lived. And there's a hiking trail up there, and then there's a summit and all this stuff. And I think that was probably about 10, 11. So the first part of the trip is you hike up to the ranger cabin. And it's about a 2-mile hike straight up, and it's fun and interesting. And you know, as a kid, you're just soaking it all in and everything. But when we get up past the cabin, my brother and his friend, they decide that they want to go hike and reach the summit. Well, they decide that they're going to leave me behind because I'm going to slow them down, and I don't know anything.
They didn't want the little brother with them.
So I'm up there on the side of this mountain all by myself for hours. And every little thing was like, what's that noise? What's that? Oh, what is that? You know, and so you kind of get that eeriness of just being alone, you know, where every little snap, every little sound, every bird.
Bigfoot? Is it a chupacabra?
Yeah, is that a snake? No, it's not a snake. So I'm out there just by myself, you know, kind of lightly freaking out, you know, and just kind of, I don't know what the hell's going on, you know. And this is back in the day. There's no cell phone, there's no GPS. I think we had sleeping bags. We didn't even have a tent. So hours later, they come back from their summit trip, everything's good, and decide that we're going to spend the night. Well, like I said, we didn't have a tent, so we're just sleeping out in the open. So for me, that was my worst camping experience because it was uncomfortable, it was scary, I was a kid, I didn't know what was going on. So in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't too bad, but as a parent...
But as a little kid, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Your brother left you alone in the woods, and that ain't cool.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays you think about, you know, all the technology we have. We have cell phones, we have GPS, you know.
But this was in the 80s, so there was none of that stuff.
Yeah. You know, we took off. Nobody knew where we were. I didn't even know where I was. I was a kid, you know. I was on the side of the mountain. So, but with that experience, you know, it helped make me more of an outdoorsman and things like that come along with it. You know, these experiences are what make us, you know, things we can look back on and laugh or cry or, you know, whatever.
All right, next we have a story from a friend of ours, and I'll let him tell it because he knows it a little bit better than I do.
So this friend, we're going to just leave him anonymous.
We don't know if he'll see it or not.
He probably won't. So this friend of ours, he had a little pop-up trailer, and him and his wife at the time, they decided to take a trip to Colorado. So in the journey, they get to the park, they get all set up. Well, they're having trouble with their truck. Due to the higher elevation, something was going wrong with the O2 sensor. The engine wouldn't start. They had to have the truck towed out of there. So the truck's at the dealership. They're camping, and the first night they were there, they heard there were sightings of a bear.
Yeah, their neighbors were saying that, the neighbors in the campground were saying that they had seen bears or heard bears in the campground.
Yep. So the second night, my buddy, he's sleeping, his wife's next to him, and he felt the pop-up move a little bit. He felt a little bit of vibration. It kind of startled him. And you know, and if you know what a pop-up is you're sleeping basically on the tent side of a clamshell.
Yeah.
Well, not even, it's a pop-up. It's a tent.
Pop-up.
So he's got, you know, the cloth vinyl right next to him. And the next thing he hears
hey, boo-boo, we hit the jackpot.
is a bear rooting from the other side of his window. Right on the other side of his head.
Yeah, he hears it kind of huffing and puffing out there right next to his head.
And he's terrified. But he doesn't know what to do because his wife's sleeping next to him, and he doesn't want to freak her out. So he's just lying there terrified, petrified. He didn't know what to do. And the funny thing is he never said anything to his wife through the camping trip. But they had to be there for a week.
Because the truck was not working.
So they were stranded up on this campground in their pop-up, which not a big deal. But there was a bear in the campground. So every night he couldn't sleep. Every noise he was jumping. Every little thing was just like, what is it? Oh my God. So when it was all said and done, they got the truck, they got back to Texas, everything was good. He told his wife and she flipped out. Next thing we know, they have a brand new RV. So
not a pop-up anymore.
Yeah. So they went from a pop-up camper to a hard-sided camper, and
yeah, he was done with that.
Continued their travels. But you know, wow, that's definitely an eye-opening experience. I don't know what I would do in that situation.
Yeah, because if you react and tell somebody else and they react, that might cause a bigger situation than you really want with a bear. You know, staying quiet's probably your best bet if they don't see you.
Yeah, the bear spooks you, you scream, you spook the bear, next thing you know, you got a paw coming at you.
Yeah, that would be bad. Okay, so now we have the story that the Millers sent us, Millers in Motion.
And they're friends of ours, and they've graciously agreed to tell their story on camera.
Thanks, guys.
Ron and Jim, thank you so much for having us in your video. My name is Ryan.
I'm Lauren.
And together we are Millers in Motion. We're another YouTube channel that's documenting our RV journey in a more food-based way because I like the foods.
And this is Mishka. She makes her appearances in the videos too.
Apparently so does Bailey now, and the third hairy one's down there. So you guys asked us to shoot you a little bit of a video that kind of talked about our worst camping experience. And let me start by saying, before we get into this story, this was years and years and years and years ago.
Long time ago.
When we were still tent camping. I don't really miss that because of this trip.
Okay.
We have not talked about this, actually. We just both instantly went to the same trip. I'm about 99.9% sure.
Yeah, we knew which one it was.
But thank you so much for having us in your video. And without further ado, storyteller.
All right, so my family grew up tent camping, which is why we were tent camping. And so there were a lot of people there. And we have camped over the years with relatively good luck as long as you plan accordingly. And so it was, you know, coming into early summer, late spring, early summer, and there was like a 20% chance of rain. No big deal. It's probably not going to come to fruition. And so we loaded up everything and we go down to a state park and everybody has their tents and we're having a grand old time, right? Overnight, it decides to rain. And
normally not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's not like there's no tornado warnings.
No,
it's not
no.
like severe weather.
it wasn't hailing or anything, no.
But it just started to rain a little bit, so you didn't think
Yeah.
much of it. You know, when you're tent camping, that rain hitting that vinyl outside of the tent,
Yeah.
you know, it woke us up, but it was like, oh, okay, it's soothing. It was actually cooled it down a little bit, which was nice too.
Right.
That's the third one, by the way.
The third musketeer. This is Klondike. Yeah, so we didn't really think anything of it, and I don't think that we realized how heavily it was in fact raining. And so it was raining more than we thought it was, and our tent was not as watertight as we thought it was.
The next time I woke up, my question was, why are we wet?
So we were wet. There was a river running through our tent. Legitimately, you could see water flowing through the tent. The air mattress that we were on had not been staying inflated. We'll say that. So now we're in the river, and we have two dogs with us. We have a 100-pound German Shepherd and a 60-pound Siberian Husky.
The OGs.
The OGs.
None of them are here,
yeah.
unfortunately.
No. And so, but they were good camping dogs, and even they were like, what is going on? So yes, lots of rain, lots of wet, lots of failures. Oh, tell us about it.
It gets Mishka upset just
she
thinking
doesn't
about it.
even- She doesn't even like it.
And Klondike's weirded out because we never sit on this couch. So anyway, we officially agree to abandon, do not bite the tripod. We officially at this point agree that it's time to abandon ship.
Abandon ship,
We
yep.
leave pretty much anything that we don't feel like is necessary to get by, and we go to the truck.
Yes.
The truck is a F-150. I don't remember the year, but it was only an extended cab, so it had like that suicide door in the back.
We're not talking 4 full-size doors, guys.
So, and this is probably midnight, 1 in the morning now, somewhere in there. So we get in there, and also we had driven to the state park, so we don't have a ton of gasoline.
Yes.
So we initially start by just leaving the truck off. That lasted about what?
Well, then the humidity
10 minutes?
from the rain starts to set in, and so now it's a sauna in there because you have all 4 of us.
Keep in mind, we're soaked. We're very
everybody's
wet. The
soaked.
dogs are wet. Everybody's wet.
Yes. And so, and there's no clean clothes because where are your clothes when you go camping? They're in a bag on the floor.
Yeah, so we actually left them in the tent because they were so wet. It didn't matter. Anything electronic was pretty much the only thing we grabbed.
So we're wet, the dogs are wet, it's now a sauna in the truck, and we're about to run out of gas, and now it's hot and muggy.
So, needless to say, not a lot of sleep was had.
No, you can't get comfortable. It didn't lay down enough. The dogs couldn't get comfortable.
So finally it's early enough to where it's okay, and the rain had stopped that we can get out and take the dogs out for a little bit of a walk. And, everybody else kind of did the same thing. I think I can't remember actually. Did everybody else tent fine and we were the
Yeah,
only
everybody
ones?
else was fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was just us.
This was not it was our last night, but it was not the camping trip's last night. We appropriately, when we were done, said, we're done.
Yeah, we did.
We are leaving now.
Sun came up and we said bye.
Yeah, because now it's hot and humid.
Yeah.
And I think we left somewhere around 9 a.m. that morning
Yeah.
and stopped and got a lot of coffee and drove back to the house and proceeded to chunk the tent in the trash. And
Yes, absolutely. That tent went bye-bye, and that was the last tent camping experience we've ever had. That will be the last tent camping experience we ever have. And now we camp in this.
And this, if you if you don't know, haven't seen our channel, this is a Grand Design Solitude 390 RK-R fifth wheel.
We upgraded a little bit from the tent to a 44-foot fifth wheel.
We do. We also live in this now
We do.
versus just weekend warrior or camp occasionally. So this is our traveling home.
That's right. So no more tent camping. We're happy to be RV campers now.
Rhonda, Jim, again, thank you guys so
you.
much. And for all of you guys,
I'll use.
for all of you out there that don't know who we are, again, you can find us at youtube.com/Millers in Motion, or you can just check out our website, millersinmotion.com. Has links to everything there. Lauren writes a blog. We have our own email list.
Yeah.
We have grumpy dogs. We have hair flying about.
Chaos. It's 24/7.
Pure chaos. So if you want to see chaos on a more regular basis, feel free to subscribe. Thank you, Ron and Jim, again so much, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Wow, waking up on an air mattress with water in the tent. Did you happen to have a paddle? I mean, that's...
I mean, I've often wondered when we've tent camped and it rained on us if it was going to get in, but I've always been told, don't touch the sides and the water won't seep in. But I guess that didn't apply in your situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that the air mattress lost air, because otherwise you might have just floated down, you know. But obviously we're glad you guys made it out okay. Yeah, you did a little bit of an upgrade there from a tent to
tiny bit.
to the Grand Design, so kudos for that.
Yeah.
I can imagine being crammed in a F-150 in wet clothes with wet dogs. Probably didn't smell the best.
Yeah, that would be very uncomfortable and a little stinky, a little warm.
Yeah, and I'm sure the dogs were not happy.
No.
Thank you guys for sharing your story. We appreciate it.
you.
And hopefully everybody here is going to go check out your channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Millers in Motion.
Yes. And we'll have a link in the description to their channel as well, so you can just click on that to go over to their channel. All right, so now it's your turn. If you have any bad camping stories, the worst camping experience ever, or something like that, send us an email. Tell us about it.
We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Tell us your story. You know, if you want to come on, be part of this new series that we have, worst camping experience ever.
We think it's going to be about once a month. We're going to do this, and so we're hoping to get lots of stories in and show you guys, you know, how other people camp and, you know, things that happen to them.
Hey, life's not perfect. You got to roll with the punches, you know, and
these are things that you can look back on and laugh or just enjoy thinking about, you know, the good parts of it.
yeah, I mean, just think about the stories you can tell around the campfire. Remember that one time? I know this one guy.
Well, our friend keeps telling us the story about the bear, so we can't forget that one. So
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what I would do if I heard a bear just right next to my head. I mean, that's frightening. I mean, we'd like to invite you to share your story with us. Who knows, maybe you can become part of our video if you'd like.
Yeah.
If you want to come on board, let us know. Shoot us an email.
our email, we'll put our email in the description, and well, it's also in the About section on our YouTube page. So
It's
easy to...
right here.
How easy is that? All right, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget the all-important notification bell. That way you know when we upload.
Yeah, and as this series goes on, I'm pretty sure we're going to have some pretty funny stories to tell, so you probably...
I hope so.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that.
No.
So, all right, guys. Well, until next time, we'll see you out there.
See you out there. Bye.